Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Sasuke UCHIHA, or UCHIHA Sasuke figure, depending on if you want to word it the proper way or not. This is the versus Itachi version, which I'm guessing is some kind of fight that happened in the show or manga, and this is his outfit for that fight. That's what I'm guessing. The good news is the first Sasuke figure was kinda lousy. This one, it actually does a much better job than the first one. It does have a few issues though, so we're going to have to go ahead and take it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 5 3/4 inches tall, which makes him just shy of 15 centimeters, so not too bad. And like I said, the first one was pretty bad. This one definitely does a much better job, but it does have a couple of serious issues. We'll get into that for the articulation. As far as the aesthetic goes, they did a pretty good job with the paint. His giant rope belt thingy is painted nicely. I like that it's a nice flat, like periwinkle purple with the darker shading on it. Looks good. The blue down here for his potato sack thing looks pretty good. There's nice shading on that. The paint job for his wristbands and his waist wrap thingy, that looks pretty good. The gray down here for the feet and the boots, that looks pretty good. Even the toes are painted pretty nicely, so I have to say I'm pretty happy about that. I have to say also that not being familiar with the show and I'm not gonna go watch the show to review the figure because it's not relevant. I can review the figure for everything other than likeness, and I have to say from what I've seen, the likeness is a little suspect here. It looks like he has a really tall head. And I don't know if that's accurate. You guys can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but it looks a little weird to me. There is really nice shading in the hair, though, so that's pretty cool. And his Pokeball on his back looks pretty nice. Okay, before we talk about the figure anymore, though, let's talk accessories. We have a total of 3 different faces. We have the one neutral face that comes on him in the package, one face that looks, I guess, kind of surprised, if that's what that's supposed to be, and then one where his eyes are red and he looks a little bit angry. So those are all fairly well painted. Actually, they're all really well painted, so that's a good thing. We have a bunch of different hands. We have the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package, 2 instant transmission hands, 2 karate chop hands, 2 gripping hands for his sword, 2 style pose hands, and then 2 more style pose hands for various martial arts, whatever else it is that you want to do. We do have his sword that is unsheathed, and then we have the sheath. It cannot go on the sword, so they've given us another accessory, which is the sword that is sheathed. And those can, or I guess that one can, go in the back of his belt, so that's pretty cool. And then lastly, we have his spiky turtle punch, which is very nicely done. It's got a really nice translucent blue. The inner part is very frosty. I don't know if that's accurate. Some people said it was, some people said it wasn't. Last time I reviewed a spiky turtle punch, I don't know, but the blue itself is very nice. It's a very nicely saturated light blue up on the front, and then it fades off to more of a standard clear going back. So a very nice accessory overall. And that's it. Not the biggest array of accessories, but I think it's enough. It's also worth noting that if you want to remove his little pouch thingy on his belt, you can do that. It's just a ball peg, but it's not really an accessory. You probably want to leave that on there if I had to guess. Now, as far as the articulation goes, the head's pretty good. We have a ball hinge for the upper part, the top of the neck. So it's a straight peg going into the neck, a ball hinge, and then a ball peg into the head itself. So you can move the head around very well on that. And then the neck itself at the bottom connects to the torso with a ball peg, so the whole thing moves around very nicely. And the hair, though it comes down pretty low in the back, it's not such that it gets in the way. You can pose the head pretty well. You're not going to be able to get him to look straight up, but most figures can't do that anyway, so no big deal there. For the shoulder, they screwed up the shoulders on the first one, and this one's almost not any better. It does look better, though. I'll give them that. This looks pretty good as long as you're not really looking inside the internals there. It's okay. So here's the thing. We have a butterfly joint, which you would think is a good thing. Butterfly joints mean better articulation, better range, except in this case, because the butterfly joint is so recessed behind this hard plastic shoulder piece that it doesn't really afford anything. It's just like the other guy I just reviewed. You can't bring the arm across the chest at all. In fact, if it wasn't for that butterfly joint, you wouldn't be able to even get the arm straight out. So that's a really poorly conceived, actually poorly executed design. It's a nice idea, but it just doesn't work. You can see the arm connects to that butterfly on a big ball peg, so that's good. You can move the arm around within that very nicely, and the ball hinge itself works pretty well. It's just that the butterfly is so far inside his body that you can't use it effectively. You just can't bring the arm across anywhere, so that's kind of a bummer. You do have a nice bicep swivel built in there. Double jointed elbow works nicely, so that's good. The standard ball hinge for the wrist is not going to be any issue. It looks good, and you have nice range of motion. For the torso, it feels like it's just one big double ball peg that goes from all the way up here to somewhere down in here. And this inner piece is just a floating cap that hides all that, and he has really good range. So that's definitely an improvement. You can pretty much pose this guy however you want to, and it looks pretty good no matter what. From the waist up anyway, and not counting the shoulders, that's all really nice. This is posable, so that's really good. I'm glad that you can get that out of the way. This is separated here and on the sides, so you would think that you'd be able to pose the legs pretty well, but this is still, I mean, it might as well be solid. It's very stiff plastic, so despite having hinged ball pegs for the hips, which you can drop down for better range, that was air quotes if you guys couldn't see my hand, you can't really pose the legs at all. Going out to the side, going forward, also not going to happen. So you can't really pose his legs at all. It's very disappointing. You have a double jointed knee, which would work nicely, but you can't use it because you can't pose the legs. So that's no good. The ankles, though, are pretty okay. It's a little bit of a weird design that it's kind of like this offset ball hinge, which is functional. They go pretty far back and they go pretty far forward. It's just a little odd looking. It's not a big deal, though. It's okay. Then, of course, you can rotate that around for a perfect ankle rocker, so that's good. And the toe hinge, not the best design in the world. It's not great, but it's not terrible. So ultimately, the shoulders are weird and the hips are almost useless, but the rest of the articulation's pretty good, and it's painted pretty well and sculpted pretty well, and he's got a lot of hands and a sword and a spiky turtle punch, and I think it's a pretty good figure. If you're a Naruto fan, then you're gonna want to get it. Even if you're not, you may want to pick it up because he's kind of a cool design, I guess. As far as Naruto designs go, I like it well enough, so I don't know. I think it's okay. You guys can let me know about that head, though. It does look like he has a 5 head instead of a 4 head. Let me know if that's how it's supposed to be or not. I'm curious, and if I just look it up, I'll see 10 different styles of the same drawing, and I'm never going to know which one is how it's supposed to be, and you guys will know that more than me. So let me know if you watch the show or read the manga, and if you don't, then you won't know more than me anyway. So there it is. Thanks for watching. I recommend it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up, turn on notifications, and in the meantime, keep collecting.